I'm thrilled to participate in this event today and to also get to listen from my peers. I could continue just into, with those two conversations. I want to say thank you, Jill, for the invitation. And both Ashley and Jill have been amazing preparing for it. I'm Erika Osterling, Erika Rivera Mañueco for this group. I'm the founder and coach of Steeped Advisory. And as I often say, I'm in my third career chapter. I focus my work to help experienced leaders create breakthroughs in their roles and during career transitions. I also have the privilege to serve as a coach at HBS and an executive coach at the Leadership Consortium, which is an organization that prepares high potential talent to excel in leadership roles. So this is my first time participating as a speaker, so I would love to share a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Mexico. I went to Monterrey Tech, and then I came to work for GE. So I've been in the US for over 20 years. My first 15 years, I followed a corporate general management track. In late 2017, while on maternity leave, I made a significant transition into executive search with Russell Reynolds until May 2020 when I transitioned full-time to coaching. I live in Houston with my husband, Scott, whom I met at HBS, and we have two little girls, 4 and 5, so keep us busy. A few fun facts. I am a pescatarian who loves bacon, and I am an only child, and I call my parents every day. So, by the way, I'm in Mexico this week for spring break in beautiful San Miguel. So, this is not my typical office. So back to today's topic. So taking ownership, a topic that resonates so much with me and that gives me so much purpose in the work that I do to help leaders find their own answer. So I'd like to start by sharing that, well, I don't know all of you who have joined us today. I do have a strong point of view that regardless of our personal stories, by being part of this group, we are privileged. And this status leaves us to many opportunities and often a high degree of optionality, but also presents a set of challenges. So making this topic even more relevant for a group like us. So with that perspective, I'll be sharing today a phrase or framework I often use. Much of it comes from recent personal experiences, and I continue to refine in the work with others. So in the time we have today, what I want to do is to show what is possible when we allow ourselves to be intentional about owning our own definition of success. My hope is that this chat touches you in a way that you become energized to design, embrace, and pursue your own definition of success. If we pause for a moment, every single one of those words is hugely tied to ownership. So first, what is success? To experience true success is to feel fulfilled and with a deep sense of purpose. I also emphasize your own because it's personal, as Pedro included in the invite. This doesn't mean that it's inwards or selfish, as for most of us, fulfillment includes our time, relationship, and contribution to our families and communities. So how do we arrive at our own definition of success? The best 3 words or verbs that I believe capture the work that needs to be done are design, embrace, and pursue. And I will explain what I mean by them along with some short, inspiring stories. So design is when we're intentional, when we develop high self-awareness from a combination of reflection and gathering external perspectives. Favorite reflection for me at this phase includes of what I'm good at. What do I want to do more of? What gives me energy? What drains me? And what are my non-negotiables? I also like design as a word because here we can create hypotheses and often we can pilot or test them. When we do this well, we have clarity and focus. So a leader situation that best exemplifies this is an experienced MBA in India who founded her own education consulting company several years back. Initially, she came to work with me on search strategy and interview skills to rejoin corporate. So given the magnitude of the change, I encouraged her to step back and create a comprehensive picture of her own success criteria. So we worked through it a couple of sessions, and one day She joins Zoom, shines through the screen, and says, who am I kidding? I hate working in large groups. Just thinking of dealing with large cross functional teams in a multinational makes me cringe. I am at my best working by and for myself, and I'm going to double down on my business. After that, she took 2 weeks to get away from family and work to strategize her business next steps. So, moving on to embrace. So, in my opinion, in my experience, it is often the hardest step for leaders like us. So, embracing means more than coming to terms or getting comfortable. It's owning, it's feeling pride, it's standing tall with our own truth. So, the journey there many times requires us to address deep tensions or even conflict with our own internal and external expectations, families, friends, other alums. When we do get there, the emotion is centered and weightless. So, a very vivid example that still gives me goosebumps is from a former head of supply chain from a public industrial company in Texas. She was at first seeking coaching to deal with a tough male dominated culture and an absent manager. So, in our first sessions, besides telling me how overwhelmed she was, she shared that she had lived overseas earlier in her career and loved it, that her husband is from the Nordics, and how much they, including their 2 kids, enjoy being the summers there, surrounded by his family. So, it was evident how meaningful this was to her. So, this was a voice that had been quieted for a while. She struggled leaving her impressive career and the feeling of starting over, that the taxes there are exorbitant, etc. So I encourage her to reflect deeply on our conversation with a particular mindset in mind: could versus should. Could is always full of possibilities. So, next session, she got on and said, I'm throwing you a curveball. We decided to move to Finland. Can you help me find a job? She went for it. She landed a senior role at a top consulting firm in 3 months from Texas with a team culture that she relates to. And last week emailed me that they booked a one-way ticket to Finland on April 2nd. So moving now to pursue. For me, pursue is moving with laser focused action, taking steps, even the hard ones, being relentless and creating accountability. If things get tough, we draw upon the clarity and conviction from the earlier phases. So the emotion there is energized and in control. One of my favorite examples, a now former strategy consultant in Boston, had decided that she wanted to contribute directly to the biotech industry since the pandemic started. Her schedule, as you can imagine, was very hectic, so she kept postponing it for months. Her pursue moment came to life when she visualized introducing herself with the role she wanted at the healthcare conference that she was co leading. From there, there was no more excuses. She grabbed onto that visual. She put her consulting skills to work and did likely the most thorough research I've ever seen. She reverse engineered the careers of many industry leaders she admired, identified 2 distinct roles that were part of each chief business officer's trajectory, and landed one of them at Moderna. So as we get to a close, I intentionally made the earlier vision circular to show that this work is not static and rather a journey. I very much subscribe to the concept that our combined life and career is like a book with a number of chapters with highs and lows in the story. However, each chapter doesn't have to bear the heavy lifting of the opening one. Rather, it is propelled and informed by the earlier ones. Thank you for gifting me this time and space. I love to connect with many of you, and I can't wait to hear about your own chapters and success stories. Gracias.